What's happening, people? Matchweek 32 predictions here. Firstly, we've got West Ham versus Wolves. This is the Friday night game. Both of these teams going into this game with better form than they've had the whole season. They've both won 2 games, lost 2 games, and drawn 1 game in the last 5 games they've played. Wolves are pretty much down. They're not mathematically down. However, they're very much not going to get out of it. West Ham, however, do have the option to get out of it, and I think they're going to take it, especially this week. This is a must-win game for West Ham. They can't lose this game. The games that they've got coming up, they're not going to be able to win all of them, so they need to win this game. I see West Ham winning the game, but I think it's going to start off very nervy for West Ham, but then they're going to get a goal and then open up from there, and I eventually think they're going to win the game 3-1. Next, we've got Arsenal versus Bournemouth. This is the early kickoff on Saturday. Again, with Arsenal, they've lost a couple in the cup games, but then just beat Sporting in the Champions League 1-0. Just ground out the result, and that's what they're going to have to do for the rest of their games. Just grind out results. It doesn't matter how they play. It doesn't matter what they do. They just need to win the games to win the league now. I think Arsenal are going to come out and actually do really well in this game. I think they're going to have the confidence from the Champions League win, come out early doors, get a goal, and then be comfortable for the rest of the game. I predict 2-0. Next game, Brentford v Everton. I think this is a good mid-table clash. Both of the teams are trying to get into the European places. However, it is going to be difficult with the other teams that are above them, but they're not out of it yet. But I don't see these teams beating each other. I think it's going to be a draw. But I think it's going to be goals in the game because Brentford do score quite a few goals, but they also concede quite a few goals as well. So I think this is going to be a 2-2 draw. I'm going to go for 2-2 draw. Next game, Burnley versus Brighton. Again, in the same sense that Wolves are down, but not technically down, Burnley have got, I think, far too much to do to get out of this. And Brighton, they're again looking at above them, looking at the European spots, especially now as Arsenal have just added an extra European slot to the Premier League. And with a few teams still in the European places, if someone wins it, another one gets added. So there is chance for Brighton to get into the European spaces again, and they're going to want to take it. So I see them winning this game, and I think they're going to win the game 2-1. Next game, Liverpool-Fulham. Liverpool really struggling for form, and that showed in the Champions League. They just didn't turn up, and drawing against Tottenham just before the international break wasn't good for them. And I feel like they're going to want to bounce back. They've got quite a few teams behind them that are very close. They need to pull something out of the bag to keep Europe. However, Fulham, again, they're one of the teams that are trying to actually catch Liverpool to get into the European places. And they are actually a really good team. I know West Ham beat them last, but then they beat 2 or 3 teams that are around the bottom before comfortably. I've got this as a 2-2 draw. I don't see Liverpool beating Fulham, but I also don't see Fulham beating Liverpool. So, draw naturally. And I think it's going to be 2-2. Next, moving on to the Sunday games. Sunderland against Tottenham. I know De Zerbi's come in. He's had about 10 days with the team. Maybe a bit less with some of the international level players. However, I just don't see Tottenham in their first game back going to Sunderland, of all places, where they're actually really good at home and getting a win. I know this Tottenham team's going to be a change team. I don't know how it's going to go. I don't know what De Zerbi's going to try. Is he going to try and implement the way that he plays? Or is he just going to deal with the hand that he's been dealt and play the players in the right positions and just see what happens? I honestly don't know what he's going to do. I don't feel like he's got time to build a brand of football in the 7 games he's got left with the players that he's got. But you just don't know. He's a top-level manager. His decision, and we'll see how it goes. However, saying all that, I still think Sunderland win this, and I think they're going to win 2-0. Next game, Crystal Palace against Newcastle. Both mid-table teams, both safe, both not really challenging for much. I mean, Newcastle still are technically within reach of getting the European places if they knuckle down, but they've been so up and down throughout the season. I don't see them challenging. There's too many teams above them that are challenging. I don't see them challenging or putting pressure on the teams above them to beat them to Europe. So I've got a 1-1 draw here. But both of these teams on their day can turn up, put a few goals away and win the game. But I just think the way that both the teams play, I see this coming out as a draw. 1-1. Forest versus Villa. Both in Europe this week. Both Nottingham Forest have drawn. Aston Villa have won. However, Aston Villa are very lucky to win that game. They got absolutely hammered by Bologna, but just put away their opportunities. So, and that's what it's about. Forest looked edgy against Porto. Got a 1-1 draw with a lucky goal. Maybe it was just the European night and they might have just been a bit nervous. Forest in the league, however, have been pretty good. They're up for the fight. But Villa are looking at trying to keep a Champions League spot now. And have really turned up their form. They're scoring goals. They're playing as a team. I don't see Forest winning or getting a draw out of this. I think Villa are going to be a bit too much. And I think they're going to win the game 2-1. Chelsea City, big match of the weekend. You just don't know what you're going to get with Chelsea. Chelsea can turn up, batter a team, but they can also turn up and not turn up and get beaten themselves. I think City are on the ascendancy. They're winning and winning and winning. They're looking comfortable. Haaland got a hat-trick last game in the Cup. They look comfortable against Liverpool. I feel like City are going to go all out for this last bit. They're out of the Champions League. They've already won a cup. I think they're going to go for this. And I think they're going to beat Chelsea. And I think they're going to beat them 2-1. Last game of the weekend. Man United versus Leeds. This is on the Monday night. Massive game. Massive rivalry between these two teams. Which can always change how a game gets played out. Because of the rivalry. However, Leeds, away from home in the league, haven't been great this season, and Man United have really turned a corner since Carrick took over. And they're again third in the league at the moment, looking at trying to stay up in them Champions League spots. They should, it's theirs to lose now because of the gap between them and Liverpool. However, I still feel like they're going to push on, and they're probably going to want to try and get in the mixer as much as they can, put a bit of pressure on City, and probably just fight to try and get second if they can, finish as high as they can in the league. They're not going to win the league, but if they can finish second rather than third, that'd be a massive achievement for Carrick and for the Man United team. That wraps up the predictions for this week. Comment down below if you think anything's going to be different, or if you think I've got anything wrong. Comment with the score and what game you think will be different. I'd like to see your comments. I'll reply always. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. It's much appreciated, all the views that I've been getting over this first 2 weeks I've been doing this channel. I'm actually really enjoying it and I want to keep going. So thank you for that. And I'll see you soon.